students. Welcome back to the online classes. In the previous lecture, we started with the second chapter of NCERT, that is acids, bases and salts. In that lecture, we studied the Arrhenius concept for acids, the physical properties of acids and few chemical properties of acids. Today, we will continue with the chemical properties of acids. So the first chemical property for today is the reaction of acids with metals. Whenever acids react with metals, they usually form a metallic salt, and apart from that, they release the hydrogen gas which is present in the acid, and that can be seen in the form of bubbles coming out in the acid. And if we seal the test tube and we conduct an experiment, or we bring a burning matchstick near the mouth of the test tube, it burns with a pop sound. This practical is completely prohibited for doing at homes. This can be done only in the laboratories. So do not try any of these things at home. So whenever an acid reacts with metal, it releases hydrogen gas and metallic salts are formed. So let's see the reaction. If I have zinc and as acid I use H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid. Zinc being more reactive than hydrogen displaces hydrogen from its position and forms zinc sulfate, and hydrogen gas is liberated. We can see this in the form of practical also. So I have acid here with me in this test tube. This is sulfuric acid, and I have zinc metal granules. This is the zinc metal granule, or you can see this is the zinc metal granule. When I put this zinc, you can see that bubbles are coming out. These bubbles are of hydrogen gas. Now if we bring a matchstick near it, the matchstick will burn with a pop sound. Right now we are not doing this experiment because it can be dangerous, so don't try any of these things at home. You can see that the bubbles are still coming. That is, the acid is so strong and it is reacting so vigorously with the metal that the reaction can be seen very clearly. These bubbles will be evolved until the whole metal has reacted with the acid. You can see that wherever the metal ball goes, it is reacting vigorously and these effervescence and these bubbles are formed. The rest of the part of the test tube is not that active, but wherever that ball of metal is, the reaction is taking place vigorously. So the reaction with metals is that acids will react with metals and they will liberate hydrogen gas. Next is the reaction with metallic oxides, that is the reaction of acids with metallic oxide. We can write metal oxide or metallic oxide. So whenever acid will react with a metal oxide, it will form the metallic salt. Let's see the reaction. If I have the oxide of calcium, that is, if I have calcium oxide and I am taking hydrochloric acid HCl, the compound which will be formed is CaCl2. This is calcium chloride, and we'll have these two molecules of hydrogen and oxygen, so it will form water. So the reaction goes metal oxide plus acids, it will form the salt of that particular metal along with water. So these were the chemical properties of acids. That is, we had seen the reaction with metal carbonates where carbon dioxide gas was released, with metal bicarbonates where the same CO2 gas was released, and in both the metallic salts are formed. We had studied neutralization where acid along with base forms salt and water. And today we have seen the reaction with metal oxides where the metallic salt and water will be formed, and the reaction with metals where the metal salt will be formed along with the evolution of hydrogen gas. So it's a 2-mark question. It can be asked that what happens when metals react with acids, or it can be asked how can you test the gas which is released by the action of acids and metals. So we know that when acids will react with metals, hydrogen gas will be evolved, and to test that, just bring a burning candle or burning matchstick near the mouth of test tube from where the gas is liberated into the atmosphere, and we will see that the matchstick or the candle starts burning with a pop sound. The next we will start bases. So again we have the Arrhenius concept for bases. For acids, Arrhenius said that those substances which release hydrogen ion when dissolved in water are acids. And now when we talk about bases, Arrhenius says that all those substances which release OH minus ion, that is the hydroxide ion, when dissolved in water are bases. Example, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, or magnesium hydroxide. When we dissolve this in water, it will give us Na plus and OH minus, that is the hydroxide ion. Now let's talk about the properties of these bases. First we will be studying the physical properties. In acid, we studied that they are sour in taste. If I talk about bases, they are bitter in taste. You can try this very easily at your home. Whenever you just taste lemon or oranges, it gives you a tangy sour taste. But when you taste Eno or you taste soda, the baking powder or baking soda which we use at our home, it will give a bitter taste. So bases are bitter in taste. Now the second property also you can do it at home. The second one is they are soapy in touch. water and you can touch that and you will have a soapy texture. That is, it will feel like soap. Now, in acids we had studied a property that it turns blue litmus red. Now the same property we are going to study with the bases, and here we will use a red litmus paper. So here we have a red litmus paper, and this is a base solution. This is sodium hydroxide solution. Now when I put a drop of this base on this litmus paper, you all can see that the litmus paper has turned blue. That is, originally it was red in color, and after putting it in base it has turned blue in color. Same thing which we can do is, the same thing can be done with the litmus solution as well. Last time we had studied with the blue litmus, and today we will be studying it with the red litmus solution. Here I have the red litmus solution, and this is sodium hydroxide. You can see that when I put this red litmus solution, it is turning into blue. So this clearly shows that bases turn red litmus solution to blue. Now let's study the chemical properties for bases. The first will be the same which we had done in acids also. So here we will react the bases with acid, that is reaction with acids. We have seen in the chapter number 1, and we have seen in this chapter also that when acids are reacted with base, we get salt and water. So now if I react base with acid, the same thing will happen. It will form salt and water, and this is neutralization reaction. So I have NaOH, that is sodium hydroxide. I have HCl. You should always write the names of reactants and products below the formula. This is the hydrochloric acid. When they will react, it will form NaCl, that is sodium chloride plus H2O, that is water. So this is the third time when we are studying the neutralization reaction. That is, acids react with base to form salt and water. This is an important reaction because when we study the next topic, that is the importance of pH, this reaction will be very important because in day-to-day life also we use this reaction a lot. The next is metals, they will again form the metallic salt and will release the hydrogen gas. That is base plus metal would form the metal salt base level. Now let's just try this practically. We have base here and I'll again put the metal, that is zinc. You can see that the bubbles are coming but in a very small amount. There are very few bubbles. You can see it only near the metal. So it will form hydrogen gas, but the reaction will be very slow. It will not be as vigorous as it was in acids. So let's take a reaction. It will form sodium zincate. This is sodium hydroxide. This is zinc. These were the two important reactions of bases. The next topic which we will start is the effect of dilution. That is, what will happen if we add water into acids and in base. The effect of dilution on acids and bases. We know that acids are those substances which will release H plus ions and bases would release OH minus ions, that is the hydroxide ions. When we dilute it, that means we will be adding water into it. That means the dilution. So when we dilute the acid or the base, the number of ions would decrease. And when the number of ions produced decreases, it decreases the strength of acid and base. Let's just have a simple example of our day-to-day life. Suppose there are 20 students in a class and somebody brings, it's a birthday boy or a birthday girl, brings 20 chocolates for all those students. And suppose on that particular day the classes are merged. Now there are 40 students in that particular class. That is, the number has increased, but the chocolates remain the same, 20. So we will have to divide those 20 chocolates amongst the 40 students. So the number has decreased, or it will be half chocolate per student. That means number of ions per unit volume decreases. That is, on dilution, number of ions per unit volume is decreasing. We have the OH minus ions in case of bases, and we will have the H plus ions in case of acids. So the number of those ions per unit volume will decrease, and this would decrease, and hence base also decreases. So just remember one thing, that whenever we dilute an acid or a base, their strength would decrease because the number of H plus or OH minus ions would decrease. This gives rise to another question, the electrical conductivity. We know that electricity can be conducted by the flow of ions, the flow of these charges. If I have distilled water, that is, distilled water means the water which is not containing these dissolved ions, that water is free from these ions, is distilled water in terms of chemistry. Okay, if I take distilled water and I try to pass electric current in that, it will not conduct electricity. But if I talk about rainwater, which is also considered as the purest form of water, that rainwater conducts electricity. Why? Because rainwater contains many ions in that. It has dissolved ions in that. The ions of wheat, sulfate ions, chloride ions, carbonate ions, hydrogen ion, hydroxide ions. There are n number of ions in that rainwater. So it will be able to conduct electricity. But on the other hand, distilled water does not have any kind of ions. So it will not conduct electricity. So it can be a 1 mark question or a 2 mark question on both these topics. That is, what would happen if we increase the dilution of an acid or a base? One question. And the other being, why does rainwater conduct electricity but distilled water does not? That's all for today's lecture. In the next, we'll study about pH and the salts. Good day, students. Stay home, stay safe.